October 4, 1938. Chicago, Illinois. Beloved children of the light, how greatly I rejoice with you in your great intense love, your enthusiasm, your determination to have freedom, the action of light. Tonight, in speaking to you, two activities will take place. You will hear my words expressed by the messenger, but you will not see my currents of energy entering into your feeling world. You might feel them and probably will, but you will not see them. The powers of life, even in your human octave, are invisible. You see the manifestations of life, but the inner acting power and currents of energy, even through your outer electricity, you do not see acting. You accept the electricity as a fact, and you use those mighty currents of energy. You know they can produce light and heat when properly controlled, or they can destroy life. They can destroy the greatest buildings in your city. Then it is a matter of conducting, controlling, governing the power of the invisible currents of life. You are dealing with currents of so much higher power than the currents through your electric wires, that there is no comparison. You believe that electricity can produce so-called death and destruction, and from the human standpoint it does often occur. Today, in calling forth the currents of energy, the power of life from your mighty God presence, the mighty I Am, you are dealing with tangible, powerful currents of energy, beloved students. If you do not understand the absolute necessity of self-control, through your outer efforts in obedience to the powers of life which you call forth, you will find yourselves in difficulties. The messengers have so instructed the students throughout these 4 years, to guard and to have self-control, but how many have really done it? Many determined right then and there on the first hearing to take command of the outer self and give the obedience to life, which is self-control. This is very vital, it is very important to you, beloved ones. You might say to me, oh, dear, I have struggled, I have tried, but I do not seem able to hold my self-control. That is just a human opinion. That is really not the truth. You might honestly believe it is, but I say to you, it is not. Because everyone within himself or herself has the power of life beating each heart. Your life is the power of self-control, only you don't quite believe it. Do you see? It is true, quite true, dear ones. The power of life in your hearts giving action to the organs of your bodies, which enables you to speak, to make decrees, give your calls to life, is life in action. Do you not see that? Do you think it is just your intellect which is making the call? Of course through your voice and intellect the sound is being made, the thought is acting, but still the power back of that is your life which is actually beating each heart. Therefore, beloved ones, try earnestly before you begin any application to show yourselves, your outer self, how and why your application cannot fail. It is the power of life issuing the decrees, making the call. It is the power of life fulfilling it, and how in the world can it fail to be answered? It cannot. Now let us get right down to business, for we want to anchor tonight in your feeling world a power of confidence, of assurance, of determination in your feeling world, which will say to your human self every time it asserts itself, shut up and sit down. Get out of the way here. The power of life is now going into action, and is taking its dominion. You have had your day. Now be quiet. As you do this, you will find your ability quite sufficient, the ability of life, to silence all human thoughts and feelings and give you the mastery and self-control which is required. I say to you, beloved ones, believe me, you cannot go beyond a certain point without this mastery and self-control. I mean by that, through outer effort. You have the confidence, the determination, the assurance that your application produces results right at once. If it does not at first, don't be discouraged, for at the same time, you must keep calling forth the instantaneous action to your call, which is the power of life answering. Allow me, if you will, to give you this assistance tonight, for my currents of light and energy go to every one of you, and are carrying my power of victory. I have not known anything else for century, upon century, upon century. I have made a very special effort tonight to guard, to govern these currents, so I might stand forth before you tonight, almost visible, in order to carry more powerfully my currents of energy into your feeling world, for in our love for Saint Germain as well as yourselves. Because of his mighty effort for the people of America and the world, we are doing everything the law, the great cosmic law, permits to hasten the victory of his I am students everywhere. Were you to see from the invisible standpoint, you would agree with me that never in the history of the earth was such a thing known or attempted. Because you do not see us, because you do not see me standing here, does not mean that I am not here, and very tangible. That is what you as students need to feel. You think it, all right, but to feel it, is far more important. Therefore, I say to you tonight, feel our reality. You do not have to see a thing to have the feeling of its reality. That is why so many of you are experiencing such happiness, because you are really feeling the reality of your I am presence, and our reality. Do you realize that it is as impossible for you to direct your attention to myself or some of the others of the ascended host, and not receive back our direct current, as it would be for the sun to stop its action, or the earth to stop its action? It is life, my dear ones. It is life, and that is all the messengers have ever talked about. We are life, the same life which is flowing into and through you. We have gained our freedom by the same identical application which you have before you. It is the same application which you have before you. It is the same application throughout the centuries, throughout all civilizations, throughout the ages. When you come into the great reality of the truth, it is so simple, so far as its worded expression is concerned, that any child may understand it, because extraordinary language is but mankind's attempt to cover or make mystical the truth, which is so simple. You will remember, beloved ones, in reading Unveiled Mysteries, it was myself who came forth and issued that mighty edict for the earth. Do you think I would issue an edict for the earth unless I had the authority? Do you think we, as perfect beings, would overstep any bounds or would try to exploit ourselves before humanity? Oh no. You will notice that we are not affected by human opinions. People may think well of us or ill of us, because it is quite the same to us, so far as we are concerned, but it is vastly different to you. If you think discordant thoughts and feelings toward anything, to the degree you allow that to act within your feeling world, are you depriving yourselves of your freedom? There is no getting away from this. I want to talk to you so clear and straight tonight, that you will have this power in such almighty action in your feeling world, you will never be deprived again of anything you call forth, for you know the law. You know a destructive quality will produce destructive action in your world. Constructive qualities, feelings, and determination bring the infinite power of light into action in, through, and out into your world, to harmonize and let the full power of life flow forth to produce its great perfection for you. There is no stopping it. Oh, my dear ones, you believe, or have in the past, that persons, places, or conditions could harm you, could interfere with you, or could delay your progress. Oh, wipe it out. Wipe it out of your memory. In the understanding of your mighty I am presence, called into action, there is no power of human creation individually or collectively which can interfere with it, because it is the power of light that knows no opposite. It goes into action, into its objective, and does its perfect work. Therefore, I say to you, beloved ones, do not doubt your application, do not doubt the power of light to answer it, but stand in the fullness of its mighty power and let its work go on, and perfection will be your joy and experience. That is why I say to you, beloved ones, you are not dealing with an uncertainty in this great application of life. You are dealing with the powers of infinite light. Life is light. Your mighty I am presence is the most powerful concentration of light, power, energy, and wisdom in the universe. You are its mighty outpost in the human octave. Is it not strange, is it not almost pitiful that you have not believed this, when beating your hearts all these centuries has been this great I am presence and power of life which knows no opposite, and only because you did not understand, have you so far forgotten our connection, our reality. That you have believed in everything in the world but your I am presence of life. Is it not strange? Think of it. Mankind in its misunderstanding has so forgotten the presence of life, that it believes in everything else but the God presence of life, giving power to everything else but that I am presence. Oh, dear ones, I plead with you. Do not ever do that once again. Do not let your human intellect make you feel that you can stand any longer in the presence of any destructive thing out here in the human octave. Stand in your I am presence of life, knowing its power is flowing forth through your bodies, and by the great projection of those light rays. As you see indicated there, you can see those rays going forth around you and before you everywhere, dissolving all human discord and sending you forth the ambassadors of light everywhere you move, the victory and power of life. That is what you want to feel. That is what you want to be. That is what you want to accept into your world, to let it have its full dominion, which is the presence and power of life. Therefore, I say to you, beloved ones, all life is yours awaiting its opportunity. I am going to digress just one moment to remind you of something. Rejoice with me that many of you here tonight have called forth with such earnestness, that you have charged your feeling world with a power of light you would not believe possible, even from me. It is right there, ready to find action in your world with just a little more determination upon your part, possibly a little more application. Won't you believe me when I tell you it is true? At present, you would think it is incredible, but it is not, because I see it there. Why did I make this special effort tonight, to come more into tangibility? In order to give you this assistance. In order that I might see the requirements from within your octave, to give the assistance which would be most helpful. Tonight, be sure in your feeling you are accepting this which I am offering, and I trust that I am not imposing anything upon you. I would indeed feel chagrined, if I thought so. I am talking to your hearts, not your intellects, and your hearts, I am very grateful, are responding beautifully. Isn't it joyful to look into each other's hearts and see what is really there? Oh no, there is nothing psychic or spiritualistic about that. It is just the law of life, dear ones, in its perfect action. Don't you see there is nothing mysterious about life? Life is the most beautiful, perfect thing in the world, and it is the producer of all perfection and beauty which has ever been. There above you, precious ones, is your higher mental body, so beautiful, so perfect and all-powerful, and it is just waiting for enough harmony to be maintained long enough in your feeling world to say, all right, my child, now you have given sufficient obedience. So I will begin to release my great powers into manifestation, into your use, because I could not trust you with them before you governed your feelings, could I? Your heart says, of course not. This is just the position of all today. I say this for such great encouragement to thousands and thousands of the I am students over America and the world, that so much is being gathered by your calls to the I am presence. And just a little more effort at self-control and harmony held in your feeling would release the great outpouring of this called forth. It is magnificent, beloved ones. Oh, you are no longer the prey of discordant conditions. You are no longer the prey of limitations of any kind, because you are coming to know life in its infinite power. Therefore, I say to you, arise and feel this as I say it, arise in the power of your own life, your mighty I am presence. I say, mighty I am presence, take your dominion in the feeling world of these beloved ones. Charge it with your great victory and power. I charge it with my victory, its eternally sustained power, its courage, its strength, its confidence, its power of action in the human octave to bring into action now. The glory and victory of life which has waited so long to find its expression through these human forms, to be the outpicturing of life now and forever sustained. Accept that, beloved ones, as your great action of life, feeling the full power of all it means to you. You came into this room tonight, and I say this to every one of you, in the present point of the expansion of your light, but you shall go forth from this room tonight a new being, a different being than you came in. You know that I speak the truth. You shall know it more and more by the end of this class. Do you realize how determined we are in your victory? Won't you be just as determined as we are for you to have it, so you will have it? I marvel sometimes, beloved ones, when we are charging forth these mighty currents of energy, when the hearts of the individuals are so good, so fine, yet the feeling is standing still. Now I shall stir up your feelings tonight, so that your feeling takes hold and sets into action these qualities which I am pouring into your feeling world. Beloved ones, you may not all have been present to see it, but I have, and when the moving picture people are ready for great results, they say, action. So tonight, I say, action, within the feeling world of every one of you, to bring forth now its manifestation of perfection. While you are standing, I utilize this opportunity to pass these mighty currents through your bodies, and ask you to feel the sweeping out of all discord. If there have been disturbances in your bodies, physical discord, pain, distress, or illness of any kind, just accept the fullness of your outpouring of life sweeping out of your physical bodies and out of your feeling world, erasing cause, effect, record, and memory of everything which has ever caused disturbance within your physical bodies. If you can, accept that in its fullness, anything which has ever disturbed you will be swept out of your bodies, whether it be irritation, disturbance, ill health, lack of strength, or whatever it may be. Now is your opportunity to have it swept out of your feeling. And call its action to be forever sustained, that its power of action may always find perfect expression in and through you, and out like a mighty river into your world of action, to silence all discord and harmonize all as you move forward the victory and power of your own mighty I Am presence. Beloved ones, the preliminary work in this mighty activity has been completed, and now we are going into definite action. I take this particular locality to bring something perhaps closer home in your feeling world. You in the city of Chicago who have been calling so earnestly, with such a great love for the return of these messengers, have been issuing these mighty, I Am, decrees with such tremendous energy, enthusiasm, and power. Do you know that you have charged the feeling world, I mean into the feeling world of every person, shall I say, of ordinary attainment, with the charge and the power of these decrees? They do not know that outwardly, but you will when they touch this, I Am, instruction. Then they will blaze forth like a light. We have seen this within the past 3 months increasing with tremendous rapidity, with extreme power, and we know the effects. You have no idea in the outer consciousness, you sometimes do feel it momentarily, the extent of your mighty work in these, I Am, decrees. It is a service rendered to the earth which would be absolutely impossible without them. Now if you really understand that an I Am decree issued by an individual or a great group is an activity in the mental and feeling world of all mankind, which is one, therefore, its very individualization must feel some portion of that mighty decree throughout the land. Do you see the stupendousness of why we urge the messengers to urge you to issue these mighty, I Am, decrees with such power, enthusiasm, and determination? It is vastly important for your loyalty to America and its protection. That has spurred you on to an activity in your application, which you probably would not have gained otherwise. Do you agree with me? I think you do. If your beautiful home were about to catch fire, you would try to prevent it before it got started, wouldn't you? Suppose a fire were creeping up to your beautiful home or building and you had the power, which you would have, to stop that, wouldn't you do it? Surely you would. The same thing is acting today in the power of these mighty, I Am, decrees going forth which dissolve the discord. Do you not see, beloved ones? Let us be so frank with ourselves tonight. There is not a thing in the universe but human beings who can generate discord, distress, and limitation. Nature does not. Oh, mankind have accused nature of a lot of things for which it was not responsible. Mankind do impose upon nature their discord, just the same as they clothe their own power of light, which comes into and through their physical bodies. I am frank to say that is not a happy thought, but we have to look at it and look it square in the face, in order to take away from it its power. Don't be afraid of anything which has been acting within you. If you have made mistakes, don't hesitate to say to yourselves, all right, I made a mistake. I am ready to correct it, and you are not going to fool me again. Then you will make mighty progress, but if you think it is impossible for you to make mistakes, especially through your feeling when you do not know it, then you are making the greatest mistake ever, because your feelings are acting constantly. And much of the time your intellect is unaware of a great deal. That is the thing over which the I Am students today at this point need to stand on guard. One of the most vital things you as 100% students need to understand today is to keep calling your I Am presence into action. Remember, the higher mental body knows all the requirements of the physical. It knows the perfection which is waiting to answer and pour forth the full quality, and the quantity of intelligent energy required to produce perfect results. If you on the physical side say, "Oh, no, I did not make any mistake, that was the other fellow," don't you see, you are making it impossible for you to accept the fact you do make mistakes, when you are actually making them. Now, let me remind you, in all due respect to our blessed friends the Christian Scientists, the denial of a thing will never in kingdom come, take it out of action. You may push it aside, and many do, but oh, when it comes back. There are thousands of our precious Christian Scientists today who have found it coming back, and they wonder what is the matter now with the denial when it does not do the work. They have come to the point where they have to acknowledge the power and the I am presence of life, because the cosmic light has said, "Mankind, you shall not ignore me any longer." The cosmic light is saying that, and thank God, the mighty I am presence and the cosmic light are willing to take that stand. Now I am going to say something very startling to you, so I give you warning beforehand. Did you ever hear anything about any release of the cosmic light until Saint Germain brought this forth? Did you ever hear anything about it? No, I am sure no one else ever did. Then, there is always a reason. There always has to be a cause for everything, does there not? Well then, where is that cause? Let us find it. Oh, you are going forth with a mighty weapon in your hands tonight. Where is that? Why has the cosmic light responded just now? It is because you, beloved people of America, the children of light, are making this mighty call through these mighty I am decrees. Remember, the mighty goddess of liberty and the goddess of light are largely responsible for this mighty release of the cosmic light. Oh, we are not talking about the cosmic light the outer scientists refer to, which is the permanent streams of energy to the earth. We are talking about the mighty cosmic light, the self-luminous substance which is released from the great central sun to the planets of this system and to the earth. We are determined that the other planets shall not say, "that dark star," for they have justly said it in the past because so little light expanded from the earth. That is why they look upon it as a dark star. We shall show them, with your cooperation, that it is a star of light. Beloved ones, oh, I want to congratulate you and every I am student in America and the world, for this ever-increasing enthusiasm, joy, and energy in releasing this mighty power, your mighty energy from the physical octave. My dear ones, it is so absolutely imperative that a certain amount of what you would term outer energy, of course it is the power of life, but it is the energy acting within and through your physical bodies which is required by the cosmic light, the ascended beings, and the cosmic beings to render this service to the earth. If the cosmic law had not been thus, it would have been done ages ago. There would not have been any distress here, and never would the other planets have been able to say, "the dark star." Won't you be seated? That is why I want you to be so encouraged. I want you to feel joy and happiness in the great service which you are rendering. Oh, beloved ones, as I have heard the messenger many times say, that even the humblest individual, even a little child can issue these I am decrees with a power ofttimes of instantaneous results. That is why we must clear away, beloved ones, all accumulated human creation in order to let your feeling world be absolutely a mirror, pure and perfect, through which this mighty energy can pass without being clothed by discord within your feeling. Oh, do you not see that, beloved ones? Oh, there is nothing in the world which can irritate you unless you admit it. What do human thoughts discordantly expressed amount to? Not a thing. Even though they are directed at you, still they have no power, if you understand the law. Yet they certainly do have effect upon mankind who do not understand this law of the I am. They are swept hither and thither by the feelings of the mass when those feelings are released, sometimes by your so-called friends and relatives. Oh, you all know how many times one in the family feels the full responsibility for the rest. Isn't that a curious circumstance? The strange thing about it is, in the old idea of serving, they believe they must accept it, when in the great law of life, everyone has to stand on his own 2 feet. So don't you let somebody lean on your shoulder. You have a mighty I am presence. You have 2 feet, now you stand on them. If it is something urgent, you make a mighty call for the blessing, relief, and help to that individual, but be mighty careful about letting anybody get the habit of leaning on you. Don't let anybody weep on your shoulder. If you do, you know those tears might be seeds planted in your feeling world, which would sometime later want to come back into action again. My dear ones, oh, please realize and understand that there is no reason for sadness, for tears in this world, unless of happiness. If you want to weep because you are so happy, well, that is quite all right. Then, those seeds will produce greater happiness, but look out for the other kind of tears. Shall I draw you one illustration? I think that will be quite sufficient. I could take you to homes in America where you would want to weep because of the feeling of grief in those homes. I say America, but I could take you to hundreds of thousands of homes in Europe in which so many tears have been shed through pain, distress, and disappointment, that any person walking into those homes would want to weep at once. Now that is how the atmosphere of an environment is charged with the feeling of the people there, and you know at funerals, everybody weeps whether they want to or not. They start out so bravely, but finally they succumb, and for what? Oh, don't think I am hard-hearted, but I want to break that false feeling away from you precious ones. The old overcoat which is that container, is not your friend or your relative or your loved one. You know that. You don't weep when you throw away your old overcoat of last season. Now really and sincerely, there is not a particle of difference. That body from which life has withdrawn is but a substance which is lifeless, and is no more valuable than your old overcoat, because you cannot wear that and you can your overcoat. Do you see? Now let us be practical. I want to erase any feeling ever again from your precious hearts that anything can cause grief. Oh, my dear ones, oh the energy, the failure, the limitations of earth which are caused by mankind's grief, just because they do not understand. Now, my dear ones, you must understand. You cannot go along any longer like an ostrich with your heads in the sand. When I approached tonight, I was delighted beyond expression. As you quite well know, my present home has been for some time at the Royal Teton. Your great love in your call for the messengers is the most glorious, beautiful thing I have ever witnessed in a city where so much discord has been, through the centuries. You don't know it perhaps, but long ago a city was here on this same spot, which mankind does not know existed. This is the first time it has ever been mentioned, but Chicago is not the first city on this location. Why do you suppose, beloved ones, that Saint Germain chose Chicago as the first release of this mighty intelligence? You who are here should be very happy, but be careful of your feelings. Do you know it has taken almost 6 years for you to believe what the messenger said was true? However, this is encouraging. It is said that slow progress makes a mighty foundation. So you see you are building a mighty foundation. Tonight, as I approached and saw in the atmosphere of this city, the blazing light which was here as your love released and you sent your call to the mighty I Am Presence, words fail utterly to convey the glory in my heart. Try to feel it, the glory which is in my heart tonight. It is again proof that the life of mankind released to the point of victory of the light, is the victory over all human conditions. Today, where once the dark shadows of mankind's creation obscured the light, even as it has the points of light within your physical bodies, yet no longer is it able to do so. Your light, beloved ones, in the city of Chicago, tonight stands forth as a mighty blazing beacon to the powers of light, and how they rejoice. How you should rejoice that the willingness to give response to life has been within you, which would call forth this mighty release. Oh, it is the most encouraging thing, and you should all be so greatly encouraged. That is why tonight I made this special effort to give you such courage, strength, and my victory, so it will remain forever in its ever-expanding activity for you, because it is action we want now, beloved ones. It is not just intellectual application, or a feeling that someone can sit down in the corner and the I Am Presence will pour everything into his or her lap. That is not the idea. Life is action. Life is perpetual motion, the greatest in the universe. It never stops. Precious beloved students, do you think your efforts, your work for life is finished by your efforts of the day? You have thought so, and you also think sometimes, oh dear, oh, isn't it nice to stretch out? Remember, if you really had been calling the energy of your I Am Presence forth into action, you would not be so anxious about that. You have limitless energy. Your presence of life here above you is the great outpouring at your call. Anyone can prove this who really will. When you get up in the morning, call forth this limitless energy for whatever you want, 10 times more than you require. You see, I am quoting Lotus, and you will have an abundance for whatever you require during the day. Oh, dear ones, please do not any longer feel exhausted, feel tired and distressed, when you have all the energy you want here above you. Oh, you can have it at your call. You can have all the peace and strength that you want. Then stand guard over your feeling world. If something occurs suddenly, some so-called tragedy or condition which would ordinarily cause you distress, stop. Still yourself, and let the power of life take command of you first, and then of the condition. I want you to feel tonight that you are the mastery, the victory of life. Sometimes, beloved ones, individuals rebel because the messengers have urged them to feel the fullness and power of life. They have urged the I am students everywhere to realize that whatever the messengers have done, the students could do, which is true, but never can anybody replace the messengers. Applause, audience. Rising, why, beloved ones? Because so few are willing to give complete obedience. These humble messengers who have come to wield such a power are still as humble as the day they left Chicago. The beautiful jewels and things they have today for use are gifts of love. So don't anyone ever envy them the gifts of love, because they wear them for your blessing and for the blessing of all, and never for personal gratification of vanity. Beloved ones, you perhaps will never know until your ascension, the mighty work these two humble children of the light have done, and given to you and every I am student in America and the world. They are hourly making the call for the I am student's protection, their limitless supply, their health, their strength, their courage to stand in the victory and power of light and have its full dominion. Thank you, dear ones. Won't you be seated? I sometimes think, beloved ones, because the messengers do remain so humble, so natural, that sometimes individuals overlook the service rendered to mankind. Oh, it is unparalleled in the history of the earth, beloved ones. They no more think of themselves or what they wear than if it did not exist, because their one thought and outpouring constantly is for the blessing of the students and the protection of America, which must be given. You know, in times past so much thought was given to the Christ and the service of the Christ, but who was willing to become the Christ in order to render that service? Who was willing to give the obedience to life? I ask you, beloved ones. Think, in all the world, all of the viciousness which has been projected toward these beloved ones, from which they have remained free and untouched. Think what the individuals who have sent that forth will one day pay. It will be such a penalty as nobody could imagine. There are people here in this city who, because they listened to falsehood, have held hatred against this beloved messenger, because of a thing for which he was never responsible in any way. Their hatred has in most instances deprived them of every good thing. Their unkind feeling has done that, and will as long as that feeling is held. Because you who are here in Chicago need to understand that, you also need to be able to meet it. If this good brother had ever committed any wrong, do you think the ascended masters would have chosen him to bring forth this great light and truth? Think about it. When he was clean enough, pure enough, honest enough to be chosen by the great powers of light to carry this light and help and bless all, then you must know how great are his own light and strength and obedience. Then some puny human beings condemn him because of listening to falsehood. Do you not see how ridiculous, how outlandish that is, that any human being in hatred should sit in judgment upon another, accusing and condemning for something, when such a thing does not exist? However, such are human frailties. But every human being pays the penalty for every discordant thing he or she has ever sent out, and that is why people are bound by limitation, illness, and distress in their own worlds. Now behold. Beloved ones, you all know definitely the messengers went forth from your city here, owing months of rent, but trusting to the powers of life to correct the condition, just to render this service. When Saint Germain said for them to go forth, they went, using their rent money to get to Philadelphia, as a blessed one here tonight knows. Now then, had they doubted the power of their application, had they doubted the power of the I am presence of life to supply them, They probably would have returned, but they said, "Mighty I Am Presence, now this is your business. This is your work. We are ready and willing. If you wish us to continue this service, then you have all wisdom and power to provide the means to do it, and you have seen the result. Now that is so with every human being who exists." Only today, the messenger had a letter from a gentleman who had made many failures in life. He wanted to borrow $2,500 from the messenger, and he said, "Well, you have made good." Sure enough, but he does not have to make good for the other fellow. Now that is just the position, the attitude which mankind take, that makes them failures. The messengers have what they have today, by the most dynamic application ever made by human beings on the face of this earth, and in the face of the greatest hatred and viciousness ever projected at two human beings. If they can rise out of that condition and be unaffected by it, which they have done, then can't you as individuals rise out of your own individual conditions with the great power of that same life? That is why I mention this tonight, because this should stand as the greatest encouragement to you for your victory, of anything on this earth, because they stand a living proof of having won the victory in the face of all this condition. This is why, beloved ones, I want you to see, feel, and understand you must make the same application. That is what brings your victory. Now remember, the messengers have followed the ascended Master's words and application, which have brought them these tremendous results, and it is why you beloved ones can win the same victory in life, if you will have the same firm determination and make the same unyielding application which they made. Dear ones, time and time again, when most of humanity are sleeping, they have issued these mighty, I Am, decrees to life for your protection, for your supply, for your health and your blessing. Now one more thing, I want you to understand here in Chicago, while we are having our family talk tonight, every person has this same power of life. The messengers have shown the example. How did they succeed? Now this is important. Because they refuse to accept any falsehood, any gossip, any destructive condition into their worlds. Remember, this beloved messenger has opened those letters, and if you know anything about what vibratory action means, in the tragic calls for help from thousands and thousands of individuals, you must know his light and strength to render that service. Do you know what he must be, not to accept that into his world and yet give the assistance? There have been thousands and thousands of instantaneous answers to his calls, and the records are there. Thank you, won't you be seated? You think you are practical because you are in the physical world, but let me show you how practical we are. From the beginning of this I Am activity, we have kept an accurate record of everything which has taken place. This inner record makes no mistakes. Humanly you might make mistakes occasionally. In your mathematics, but we never do. Therefore, we have the exact record of everything which has been done, and the progress of every I Am student, and we have not complained once about being exhausted. Now why do we have to do this? Not to keep tab on you, but to see, now remember again, keep this in mind, how strong a release of the cosmic light can come into the physical octave to help you. These great ones at your calls have interceded with the great beings in the great central sun, to bring forth this great cosmic light in these mighty waves. Therefore, in order not to release a power greater than mankind could utilize or govern within themselves, we must know your strength, because remember, you are a focus of this cosmic light. You are calling to the presence and power of light, your mighty I Am, are you not? You are also calling to the cosmic light, which makes you an outpost, a focus of the cosmic light. Don't you see, beloved ones, you are not dealing with an imaginary thing, you are dealing with the power and intelligent currents of life and energy, which you are calling forth into action. Then do you not see why it was necessary that we had to keep those records? We had to, in order that the cosmic light might not release itself and sweep into action before the people are ready. We are forming a mighty foundation, dear people, which will never be shaken, and every inch we gain toward the freedom of mankind, at your mighty calls, is sustained there forever. This is wholly different than has ever been in mankind's experiences, because mankind, not having understood the presence of life, the mighty I Am, had no sustaining power nor permanent protection called into action. Therefore, things have come, produced a certain amount of results, and then disappeared from physical action because there was not a sustaining power, for mankind did not call it forth. Now, in the understanding of the mighty I Am presence, and the issuing of these mighty I Am decrees continually, the results will follow so much more powerfully and quickly. Oh, dear ones, you rejoice at the results so far, but you are only just getting into action. The results here will follow in the future, so transcendent in their expansion that your joy will know no bounds. But if you do not keep up your calls, how are you going to express this greater accomplishment? Don't you see, there is no opportunity to let down? Of course, we do not mean you should keep under any tension. There should be just a great joyous relaxation in using the power of light as you call it forth. Then you stand the mighty outpicturing of all this perfection which you call forth. I want you ere long to realize this outpicturing in your bodies. I am starting it especially here tonight, to show a mighty outpicturing of the perfection of life through your physical bodies. Many of you have had marvelous results, but I want to see every one of you transformed by the power of light going forth through your bodies. You can have it as you see this outpicturing coming forth, not only in your affairs, but in your physical bodies. You will stand the victory of light. If you find yourselves once drooping with the weight of troubles, straighten your spines and stand there the victory of light. Oh, what a wonderful thing! Feel that, dear ones. Feel that mighty victory which is yours, taking command of your physical bodies, producing harmony, happiness, health, strength, and power within those human forms. Let it hold its dominion there. Oh, it is within your reach, every one. Because the world of human opinions has said when you have 40 years or more over your head, you must become an old individual, is not that the sheerest nonsense? Mankind have accepted it, and of course in their accepting, it acts in its outpicturing, but it does not have to exist. Really, any one of you could start in tonight and, inside of 3 months, show the most magnificent outpicturing of youth in your bodies. You would scarcely believe it. Only as you see the proof at your calls, will you know what strength and courage it would give. I think I shall tell you a little joke on the staff. You know they are such busy people, they have not noticed the great change which has been taking place. They are getting handsomer and younger each day. I commend them. You know, when individuals think they have been very busy, they should come into the staff. They admit they never knew what it was to be busy before, but what a blessing it is. Let me say to you, beloved ones, mankind is awakening with tremendous power and speed. I thank all, and the blessed one who is in the audience who has been instrumental in so much of the broadcasting going forth. I thank her with all my heart, for I tell you, beloved ones, you have no idea how far-reaching that is. We have been watching and making a record of the effects of the transcriptions and the broadcasts, aside from the other part of this activity. Because we are practical, we want to see how much is accomplished by that effort, for the response has been so tremendous. We have not even told the messengers how great it has been, but ere long I expect we shall. I tell you, dear ones, it does reach mankind. I want you to understand this, because of the magnificent activity which it is. You find mankind in a quiet attitude of listening to a broadcast through the radio in perfect stillness and quiet. There is not a thing to distract the attention. You don't mind if you stand a few minutes, do you? For I want you to have the radiance and blessing here. Otherwise I would have asked you to sit down. This mighty current which is pouring forth and the release of light through your calls, your mighty I Am decrees, has prepared the way. Now notice, this outpouring has gone forth into the mental and feeling world of mankind. There being the mass feeling world, the mass mental world, then each outpouring goes forth in its own activity, spreading like a light in the darkness, into the mental and feeling world of all mankind. Then, when they are quietly listening to a transcription or broadcast, they are in a position for the release of that which has gone forth to enter into action in their feeling world, and when they hear these words, the light takes full action within them. We have observed and have the records of those who have come in through the broadcasts, and we find they come in with a marvelous preparation in their feeling worlds for the comprehension and understanding of this I Am activity. This is why I say this tonight, because this blessed one here, as well as the one in the West, has been giving great assistance, as well as all those who have assisted in any way. Therefore, I say to you, oh how great is the blessing of that effort made, beloved ones. After all, there is only one service which can be given, and that is the service to life. It is magnificent and wonderful beyond words. Mankind think they serve for this thing, that thing, or the other thing, and after all, when you understand all you do, all that you can express is just your service to life. Oh, it is the most beautiful thing in all the world. Beloved ones, there is only one thing which can be served, and that is the service of life for your own freedom. Thank you so much. Won't you be seated? I say to our beloved, how great will be the blessing of her group work in this room. I qualify this charge to remain in action, to bless you in your work, to bless you in your service to life. Will you not always remember that? Beloved ones, everything you do is the service to life for your own freedom. Oh, it is such a beautiful thing. I have been the joyful observer of your great, your mighty, your precious efforts in your calls. Go on and on and on, dauntlessly. Children of the light. Go on and on and on, in your mighty determined application, your refusal of acceptance of any discord into your world, giving all mankind perfect freedom, refusing to offer advice, turning everyone back to his or her own, I am presence of life. The only one who knows what each life stream requires, for in turning the attention of each one back to his or her own mighty I am, the higher mental body is given an opportunity to project its mighty intelligence, its strength, its health, its courage, its energy, which otherwise it would not be given the opportunity to do. That is why the messengers have constantly turned everyone back to the mighty I am presence, refusing to give advice, leaving everyone free to accept or reject. Then mankind more quickly come into the understanding that their call to life, their mighty I am presence, is the most important thing in their existence, and the quicker, the stronger, the more powerfully they turn to it, the quicker are they free in the full power of their own application. That is what makes your victory. That is what makes your freedom, because you cannot have your freedom through someone else. You can have great assistance, but that is only temporary until you gain the full victory and power by your own application. When you once feel that, what a joy, what a release! No words will ever be found which could convey what that feeling is within the individual, when each one begins to feel the full power and freedom of his or her own application and its infinite power of action. Tonight, my love enfolds you always, and we hold your hands in ours, pouring forth our love, strength, courage, and victory until that day when you in smiling radiance to the presence say, thank you, mighty I am. At last I am your victory, the glory of your mighty victory of life, brought into perfect manifestation on earth. In the fullness of all life holds, I call for its mighty release to come forth now into your worlds, giving you limitless supply of money and all else required. Giving you the mastery and self-control so all discord is forever closed out of your world, that you with your faces to the mighty I am presence, the power of all life, go forth the dauntless ambassadors of light. I thank you.